blame him.
He's human on
Okay. You please stop zooming into my nostril.
You have a bad setup, sir. We're gonna start a GoFundMe page and get you a good one. Because look at this. What disgrace? Get it to teacher salary, but God.
What we're gonna get?
He's at the office.
Can you stop doing that, Daniela? Alright, so I hate that show anyway.
Why? Why?
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
I don't know why this generation likes novels.
I've never seen it.
I grew up.
Can Neil come in? Yo, that was
Yes.
nice one.
Okay, so
It's awkwardly funny.
we're gonna talk about quadratic function. Quadratic sum function is a big part of the SAT, and it's also
You're not afraid you gotta go.
Yeah, you're
There
not.
you go.
Yeah.
okay. So okay, quadratic function. There's a vertex form, which is we already know how to graph vertex form. If you pay attention, you did that yesterday for number 2, question 2, question 2, part 1. So if you look at over there, the piecewise function is a negative parenthesis x plus 5 squared minus 1. We actually already graphed that equation. That vertex is what? What is my vertex? H and K. Because that's moving, what, according to that one, is moving 5 units to the left and 1 unit down. And that's my vertex is moving there. Okay? So that's already in vertex form here. So you, invisibly, you do already know how to graph this. Alright, color code this just for you, just that H and K just kind of tell you. Now if this is a plus 2, then you're going to have a negative 2 and whatever, K. Okay, so that's your vertex. Axial symmetry. Axial symmetry is x equal to h. Well, if you have your vertex, right? This is, we're going to come back to it. Just like think about your face. Your face, your chin is right here, then your axial symmetry has to right here. So that's your axial symmetry. So your chin really decide where your axial symmetry. So the x value of your chin is going to tell you where my parabola is. And that's going to be your symmetry point between both sides. The symmetry is very important. The symmetry, you have cheekbone right here, you have cheekbone right here. Hopefully you don't have cheekbone right here, then that's going to be ugly. Okay, so you're going to have 2 even sides. Now this part is something that a lot of you guys don't understand, but it's also very important on SAT. Now this one has nothing to do with any of those, but this is just to help you find something that is important for you. Find x-intercept is set y equal to 0 or f of x equal to 0. Y is same thing as f of x, right? And then you're going to solve for x. Solve for x. Y-intercept is a very major one. Y-intercept is set x equal to 0. And solve for y. Solve for f of x. Okay. Now you're gonna say, now let's go back to this form. It turns out quadratic has 3 different forms. It has a standard form, which is f of x equal to a x squared plus bx plus c. The axial symmetry is x equal to negative b over 2a. Do you have to memorize that? No. And yes. So what the hell does that mean? No and yes. You already did memorize that a long time ago if you memorize the quadratic formulas. It's right in the front right here. It's located right here.
Oh, I had it memorized.
It's negative b over 2a. That's the axial symmetry. Now, as far as this part, for you to understand, the vertex is located right here, which is negative b over 2a and f of negative b over 2a. So a lot of you guys get confused about this part. It's nothing to be confused about. It's actually pretty easy. Negative b over 2a is going to give you some type of value. For example, number 2 over there, the negative b over 2a is actually negative 5. But negative 5, then you can plug into original equation for x. You're going to get a y value. So in another word, it's saying this: if you have the x value, so if I know that my axial symmetry is right here, my face is right here, then this is my parabola right here, with outskirt of my face, which is my parabola right here, but it's right here. So you can figure out where my chin is if I plug in that x value into the original function. So that's why they say f of that negative b over 2a, that's going to give you the original y value of the vertex. Anybody is confused here? Raise your hand. Okay, Ken, which part are you confused? Okay, do you understand negative b over 2a is going to give you some type of number?
Yes.
Okay, so that number is going to be negative b over 2a. So for example, it's 1. Then what I'm going to do is, when I'm going to plug this f of negative b over 2a, that just means if I'm plugging 1 into the original functions, and the y value, this f, that means that when x is equal to this, what is the y value? Now whatever y value is going to get, it's going to give you a vertex. Now you might be still a little bit confused, but we're going to get to that in a second. Now, a lot of you guys have a hard time memorizing quadratic formula. You memorize it? Great. But if you don't memorize, here's how do you memorize it. I'm going to make fun of Michael. Michael's not here. The shout out to Michael. My failed fourth period. Michael is a sad boy. Okay. So a sad boy, that's a negative b, right? A sad boy is going to a party. Not any type of party, it's a radical party. It's lit.
Red.
Okay? Okay? But the party could be bad party or bad party. A bad party or good party, that's why you get plus minus, right? So a sad boy trying to go into a radical party. And the party could be good or bad. Does that make sense? And the sad boy trying to do a square dance. So that's why B square. You can see Michael doing square dance actually.
Oh my god.
Sorry, Michael. You're not here, that's why we had to make fun of you.
Really not.
Sad boy go and do a square dance
You got 3 viewers.
without for air condition. Okay, without for air condition. Okay? And the party is ended all over and at 2 a.m.
This is what we used to say without
We had to memorize this to get into the class a few years ago.
Okay, so let me repeat again. The sad boy is the sad boy is a Michael. Sad boy going to a radical party. It could be good or bad. The radical is a radical party, right? So the sad boy is trying to do a square dance without is a minus sign or air condition. So he's all sweaty, right? The party is ended at 2 a.m. So that's how I memorize something. Now we're gonna talk about this a little bit more. The sad boy trying to get digits.
No.
Oh, Mr. Yes. Huh.
Trying to turn off. You can throw out if you want.
No,
Just
I
take
think
a
sorry.
second.
Are you going to?
I already can.
Okay.
Okay.
Every time I do that, my grade drops more.
Okay. So now this is how do I memorize quadratic formulas, and that's we're gonna talk about this more though. The sad boy trying to do square dance without for condition. He's trying to get digits from girls. Girls or girl
Okay,
or
Michael back in the
It's
imaginary
2018.
girlfriends. We can talk about that. So we're gonna make fun of Michael since he's not here today.
Oh.
Sorry, Michael, you're not here.
Yeah, 2018, they give you guys to.
Exactly.
I'm a demi boy.
There's actually more than just two genders.
How many?
Now you can go.
There's
We're not starting this conversation. This is not the class for this.
Okay, so now we're gonna say, how about this? Well, we're gonna talk about this graph in a second. This is another one. This is another format. It's a factor form. The factor form is gonna give you. The factor form is gonna give you f of x equal to a parenthesis x minus p parenthesis x minus q. This is called factor form. Now the x-intercept here. This is x, by the way. X-intercept is p0 and q0. Now, if you have two x-intercept, right? Just imagine you have two x-intercept. It's like looks like this. Let's say it's 1 and 10. Where is my axial symmetry? 5.5.
I don't know.
What?
Oh, actually, 9. Yeah, 5.5. It's right between. So that's your axial symmetry. So the axial symmetry is p plus q divided by 2. So that is the axial symmetry. Now, SAT, they like midpoint a lot. They like midpoint formula. They won't ask you to find a midpoint a lot of times. So you had to find the midpoints here. So axial symmetry is the midpoint. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So any question about this one so far? Now we're going to talk about this small part right here. Y equal to x squared. I color code all this to make sure that you understand. So you can zoom in here if you want. But y equal to x squared is this graph right here. It has -2, 4, -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. So 1, 1, 2, 4, right? Are we okay here? And the 2, 4 is right here, still a purple line. Now what if I have changed it to y equal to 2x squared? So it's the green line. What does that 2 do?
Multiplies the y.
Multiplies it every y value by what?
2.
2. So this one's going to be 8, this one's going to be 2, this one's 0, this one's 2, this one's 8. Now if you see that here, that this point here, 1 is going to multiply by 2, it's going to all the way here. At 2, it's going to go all the way to 8. So make the graph stretch. Make the graph stretch.
So do we ignore the square sign?
Huh?
Do we do nothing with the square sign?
The square sign is already square. That's the usually square value. That 2 is just going to double it.
Oh,
Can you tighten it?
So how did you get 8 from 2 if you're multiplying it by 2?
Okay, you think about it. -2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. What if you have here, this is a 1/2 by the way, but this is the orange line. The orange line is going to make it short and fat. The green line is tall and skinny, but this one's going to be short and fat. It's called vertical compress. So it's compressed. How did it compress? Because if I plug in -2 here, I'm going to usually I'm going to get 4, but I'm going to half of that. So it becomes 2. So if I plug in 2, it's going to become just it's going to be 2 and 2. So this one should be 2 right here.
Dude, that's a video.
2. Okay. So the graph is going to make it wider and it's going to make it fatter. So because you're going to multiply all the y value by half compared to the original. See, that's 4, they're going to become 2, and here's going to be half, here's going to be 0, here's going to be half, here's going to be 2. Are we okay here?
Mr. Yan, look directly to the camera.
Why?
Just real fast.
Why, you adding stuff?
No,
Bubbles?
you don't want me to add like special effects.
Special facts?
There's like filters.
Wait,
The
you
bubbles
oh
are
my God.
problem?
That's like completely
Okay.
Oh. Oh my god, there are bubbles. There's a dance party.
I know, right?
Okay, so I need to zoom in on this side.
I'm trying to give him a cute little.
Dude, get the
No.
Last gen.
Oh wow.
Next time.
This little white boy.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
I'm late.
We haven't get to that.
Wait,
Oh, okay.
At the end of class, like when the bell rings,
Yeah,
the
it's
dance party.
Yeah, phone jacked up.
Okay, so
You leave at, everything goes like-
can I grab this? Can you guys grab this for now and show me that you can grab this?
Yeah. But I don't know how.
Squares like vertexes, right?
Please enjoy
So much.
the commercial break.
Yeah, squares, vertexes, right?
Huh?
Turning back into our lessons soon.
The vertex, yeah, is a problem.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
Thank you.
Skip ahead to minute 85. Oh, I forgot.
My paper.
Hey guys, this is an ASMR, and we are going to have the commercial break. Students,
This video is gonna be very weird.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Crying.
What are you doing?
I think I got it, but I'm not
Yes,
sure.
more.
okay, and thank you for tuning in to my ASMR. Back to the lesson.
Whoa.
So annoying.
I'm on my 3 hours of sleep.
Okay, so what's my vertex? What's my vertex?
H and K.
-1 and -8.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Right?
No, it's gonna become -2 and -6.
What's my vertex? No, they don't distribute.
H and K.
What is
Oh,
H and
1
K?
and 8.
1 and -8.
Why do you count? Oh, right.
Because this is a moving right one, right?
Yes.
And down A. But you're looking at it as H and K is gonna be opposite sign.
Okay.
Inside the parentheses opposite sign. So are we okay here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So now we're gonna graph that. We're gonna say, hey, that's going to 1, and that's gonna go to 8. So it's gonna be right here. And I'm gonna draw a chin right here. So that kind of tells me that is my vertex. Are we okay here? Now you can know your next point because your next point is gonna go based on here. So your next point is gonna go move 1 to the right. How many unit up?
Wait,
2.
2. It's gonna be 2 units up. So it's gonna be actually 2 units up right here and 2 units up right here.
It's multiplied by 2.
Because multiplied by 2 is a stretch. That 2 is a stretch value. So whatever value you're gonna plug in is gonna multiply by 2. Up more. So you move 1 over and 2 up. The next one is actually gonna move 2 units away, and how many unit up? 8. So just remember it's right here. 8, 2, 0, 2, 8. It's right here because multiply by 8. So it's gonna go all the way to here, and it's gonna go all the way to here. So your problems end up to be like this. But however, today's homework, I'm gonna ask you to find y-intercept, x-intercept, and all that. So we're gonna go in from this. So here we're gonna say, how do I find y-intercept? Well, if I base on this, f of x is equal to 2 times x minus 1 squared minus 8. How do I find y-intercept? Set x equal to 0. So that means f of 0, right? So that's equal to 2 times 0 minus 1 squared minus 8. Am I going too fast?
No.
So now I'm going to just follow the order operation. 2 times 1 minus 8, that's equal to -6. That's how I get this point, -6. Look at it. -6, 0. No, 0, -6, my bad. So 0 and -6, that's my y-intercept. How do I find x-intercept?
You make
So,
five.
Set X to Y to
So f of x equal to 0, right?
Yeah.
So y-intercept, so find x-intercept. That means what? X is equal to 0, that means that f of x is equal to 0, so 0 is equal to 2 times x minus 1 squared minus 8. How do I solve this equation?
Order of
Don't kill
operation.
puppies.
You can don't kill puppy, but there's actually one way to avoid don't kill puppy actually. You can actually distribute distribute the 2 here, so it'll be x minus 1 times x minus 1 and distribute 2 and then factor it and you, but that's too complicated. Is there any other way to do it?
Distribute the 2.
You can distribute the 2 because you can distribute 2 to any other than
Would you
first
like-
power.
Move 8, then divide by 2 and square both sides.
Move 8.
Yeah.
To be equal to that.
And divide by 2.
Do you see that or no?
And then square rooted.
No, we had to divide by 2 first.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
Now
So that's gonna give you 4 is equal to x minus 1 squared. Now
And then
this
square root.
becomes one of the things that we do before.
Yeah, square root both sides.
Square root both sides.
2
Yes.
equals
Yeah.
x minus 1, x is in it, no? Yeah, 'cause
So factor out
Square
x
rooted.
minus 1 and then do it. And then subtract.
Why not?
You forgot to mention something. When I square root both sides, what am I gonna get?
Plus,
Plus
you-
minus.
Because you're still gonna have.
You know what? You have 2x intercept. That's why you got plus minus.
Oh.
That's why you got plus minus. That's why a lot of you guys forget stuff. So plus minus square root of 4 is equal to x minus 1 because I square root both sides. If I square root both sides, I'm gonna get plus minus. And that's why you got 2x intercepts. A lot of people says why. That's why. If you graph it, you're gonna see it why.
I thought your puppies were even.
Now you're gonna have x minus 1 is equal to 2 and x minus 1 equal to negative 2. Now you're gonna say x equal to 1, I think? No, I did something wrong.
Isn't it just 2?
Once you say
Didn't
that.
you just do a negative 2?
Yeah.
Wait, no, like.
You know, I'm just not gonna figure out anymore.
No, it's 3 and negative.
I don't know what you're talking about.
This one is a plus 1, I can add x equal to negative 1, so it's gonna
I see,
be
I just had a
3,
brain
That's what I'm
freeze.
saying.
0, and then negative 1, 0. So that is my x-intercept. So I can find my x-intercept. Today's homework, I'm gonna ask you to find x-intercept, y-intercept, graph it. But not only that, if I graph this point, right,
Yes.
I can actually graph the other point. You think about it. If this is your chin, right? This must be your nose, right? And if you have ear on this side, you must have a ear on this side. Does that make sense? They have one distance away from here. If you find a distance away from your nose and your ear, you can find another point. It's called correspondent point. So this point can be given without looking at the stretch. Okay, looking at the stretch, you can actually do that. Are we okay here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now we're gonna get to this part. This part is saying, hey, can I take this form, change it to standard form? Can I change it to standard form? How do I do that?
You would distribute 2.
You distribute the 2, but not distribute that way, not distribute 2 like this way. You cannot distribute the 2 into any other power than 1.
Yeah.
You can distribute this part first, so it'll be order operation, right? Are we okay here?
Yeah.
Now I'm at FOIL this, so it'll be x squared minus 2x plus 1 minus 8.
Mm-hmm.
And that's equal to 2x squared minus 4x
Plus 2.
plus 2 minus 8. That's equal to 2x squared minus 4x minus 6. And that's become to the standard form.
That's not working.
Yeah, I know.
And then you have to do quadratic formula.
So now you get to here, right?
Oh my god.
And you say, okay, well, was any question from here to here? I can change from one form to the other form. How about I have memory loss? I just forgot what I did before. So I forgot everything happened before. I was given this equation. I say, hey, can I find my way back to vertex form to graph it? So I say, I want to graph this equation. and there's no way for me to find vertex here.
Would you like to take?
So then you're gonna say, okay, let's look at this function. Let's say you have memory loss, all this thing ever happened. We didn't graph it, we forgot how to graph it. We say, we have this part of the equation. We say, now can you graph it?
Quadratic formula.
No, let's look at what are the standard form. This is what form is it? Standard form, right? Can I use a negative b over 2a to find axial symmetry and can find a vertex? And I can even find the original equation if I wanted to. I'm going to show you. So a is equal to what? Not 2x, 2. B is equal to what?
Negative.
Not 4,
Negative 4.
negative 4. C is equal to what? Negative 6. So now I can say axial symmetry. Negative b over 2a. So axial symmetry. I use that to find it. And we say that's the quadratic formula. So it'll be negative 4. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to do negative b over 2a first. Negative b over 2a. That's equal to negative 4 over 2 times 2. That's equal to what? 4 over 4, that's equal to what? But I find my axial symmetry now. Can I find my vertex?
Yeah.
If I have axial symmetry, can I plug in the 1
So the problem.
into the original equation? Because if I have my axial symmetry, guess what? My chin's right here. If I have my axial symmetry right here, my chin's right here, I have to just plug in the equation to find out what a y value is. Ken, is that understandable? So now I'm going to plug in f of 1 here. Is equal to what? 2 times 1 squared minus 4 times 1 minus 6. That's equal to 2 minus 4 minus 6. That's equal to what? Negative 8. So my vertex is what? 1 and negative 8. I can just graph it over there now. But more than that, I can actually find my original equation. You look at it. So y equal to a times x minus h squared plus k, right? What is h in this case?
1.
1. So y equal to what? Y equal to
A.
x minus
1.
1
Minus.
squared minus 8.
Sure.
And what is a? But if you realize in here, I kind of said it for you already. You see this a? It's the same as this a. It's also same as this a. Right? What is this a right here? The 2, right? Can I just install it right here? So that makes 2. That's how I get back to original equation. So today's homework, you gotta be able to graph this, y-intercept, x-intercept, graph in vertex form, change to standard form, and change it back.
Oh.
Change it back to vertex
It
form
took me so long to do yesterday's.
using whatever things that you have. Change it back. It turns out there's more than one way to change it back. It turns out it has axial symmetry to use that to change it back. The second way that we're going to go over tomorrow is called completing the square. Okay? So today's homework, you're going to try. I'm not going to give you too many questions. I'll give you 2 questions of this, and then 2 questions of piecewise.
Oh, that's already too many.
And that's worth almost 80 points of your next test. I'll be out. Not special effect.
Yeah.
Brandon, you said that.
Great.
You have to dance. It's a dance party.
It's a disco light.
This is night. Do something.
All right, dance. Can somebody teach me how to dance?
Miriam, dance.
No.
I'll teach.
No.
So Mary, what do you want to wear?
It's like this.
Exactly.
Oh.
Mary, that's
Y'all feel good. I just know how to move. I just been following.
Whoa, dance parties. Look.
Look.